Hello, I am Lauren Holly Allen, and I'm back with you again. This video is number 5 in our series together. The title, Working Together to Address Risky Business. Oh yeah, risky business. The selection of team members begins with business owners and leaders. So we will be addressing all of it today. The primary goal is to work together to develop response plans and risk assessments. And we're looking closely at risk assessments, probably in this video, and we'll see how much we can get covered. This step begins after the administrative team and business owner or school administrative team is appointed and assembled. They're at the table. The bosses are there. And now the bosses, the business owner, has to make decisions. Don't forget our previous discussion to understand potential risk wherever your building is located. And don't forget situation awareness, what it means knowing your space, why it's key to your organization and your personal survival, knowing where you are at all times. The decisions regarding student safety in academic settings, that too merits a frank discussion. The principal or headmaster of any school, whoever is in charge, might select an alternate on the team as leader in his or her absence, or choose others to assume the leadership role and team development. In business, the leadership might also select alternate staff to lead in his or her absence to oversee protocols. Individual titles might be Chief Preparedness Officer, Security Professional, having law enforcement background, that's always helpful, or Public Information Officer. It's important to designate team leaders to oversee specific areas of responsibility. Are you ready for the quick quiz question? This is an easy one because I'm going to give you the answer. I want you to make sure you have your pencil and paper if you do not have your book. Define risk assessment. Remember, this is risky business we're dealing with. So define risk assessment. If you can't, don't worry about it. Write this down. Risk assessments for business varies across industries. Such risks include employee theft, data breaches, financial risk, and natural disaster risk. It's a process for identifying hazards, potential future events, which may negatively impact or have a negative impact on individuals, their assets, or the environment because of hazards. Their likelihood, consequences, and actions which can mitigate or alleviate their negative impact in your home, school, or job. Hazard analysis is the first stage of a risk assessment process. Write it down. Hazard analysis is the first step of a risk assessment process. Question 2. Is risk assessment protocols necessary? You know, I always ask you, because I envision you sitting there and saying, is all of this necessary? Do we need to know all of this? And we talked about it in our last video. And I made a promise to you. I would definitely not let you down, but the basics You must have. So here we are. So is it necessary? I think we all agree nobody expects an emergency or disaster. Yet emergencies and disasters can strike anyone, anytime, or anywhere. We agree on that, correct? Okay, let's move on. Know the rules, know the laws, know what you're supposed to do, whether you're working for someone or you are the boss or you're the business owner. Know the law, know the rules. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, employers should establish effective safety and health management systems and prepare their workers to handle emergencies before they arise. Before they arise. That's why we've already covered planning, some aspects of it. Businesses with more than 10 employees must have a written emergency action plan. Smaller companies it's okay to communicate their plans orally. This includes small mom and pop businesses with less than 10 employees as well. Top administrative support and the commitment and involvement of all employees are essential to an effective emergency action plan. We must all work together. No matter what team you're on, how large or small your team is, we must all work together to make it happen, to get it done, to save our lives, to save our streets, to save our houses and businesses. Employers should review plans with employees when initially put in place and reevaluate and amend or change the plans periodically whenever the plan itself or employee responsibilities change. You got to let your people know. People, you need to know. 2, chain of command. The employer should designate an emergency response coordinator and backup coordinator to lead the security committee. The coordinator may be responsible for plant-wide operations, public information, and ensuring that outside aid is called. Having a backup coordinator ensures that a trained person is always available. Employees should know who is the designated coordinator on the team. The duties of the coordinator and employer include determining what emergencies may occur and seeing that emergency procedures are developed to address each situation by directing all emergency activities, including evacuation of personnel, and ensuring that outside emergency services are notified when necessary. Someone has to do that. Someone has to know when to do that. And you, as a worker, need to know when to do that as well in case the coordinator's out to lunch and a fire occurs. You call 911. So all of this needs to be, according to OSHA, are if not written down in a larger business, under 10 employees, it is the responsibility of the business owner, shop owner, librarian, whoever's in charge, to know what and to articulate to the staff. They need to know what to do. Emergency response and threat assessment teams. Let's look at that. It's a mouthful. Emergency response teams should be thoroughly trained for potential crisis and physically capable of carrying out their duties. Remember when we talked about my daughter being carried down the steps, helped down the steps with her cane. Well, if someone is on a top floor of a nursing home, business, wherever they are, the staff need to be strong enough and have the physicality to get them down the steps or get them out of the building, even if they're bedridden. They need to know what to do. This is a reminder. See, we're building, and as I teach you something, there will be something else I add to it the next time we meet. So, team members need to know about toxic hazards in the workplace and be able to judge when to evacuate personnel or when to rely on outside help. When a fire is too large to handle, what do? You call the fire department. You can't handle it. You can't put it out. You need to know when to do that. If you are the kitchen staff and a fire breaks out and there's some toxic grease or something that is very inflammatory, you need to know what to do. You are working in that environment, and you need to be taught by your coordinators, by the boss, by the head chef, whoever's in that kitchen, who's doing the training, needs to articulate this and teach this to the employees. You see where we're going with this? This is risky business. Risky business. Training. Training must be conducted at least annually. I'm still on OSHA. And when employees are hired or when their job changes, additional training is needed. When new equipment and materials or processes are introduced, when the layout or design of the facility changes, when procedures have been updated or revised, or when training exercises and drills show that employee performance is inadequate. When employee performance is inadequate and team members do not get it, they do not understand what they are supposed to do, especially during an emergency, it is time to retrain. It is time, because you have exercised them, you have drilled them, and you can see they're not understanding what you are teaching. I can't make it any plainer than that. Detailed fire protocols, I was just looking at them in some of my old notes, will be addressed during my next series. We're not there yet, but I do have that information for you, and I will teach you because I have it. Class 3 series, let's revisit that. The facility site assessment. I previously asked if you have considered active shooter training. I hope you're taking detailed and good notes like we discussed. Have you or your school, church, small or large business conducted or scheduled active shooter training yet? Have you? Have you made a decision to go ahead and get going with that? You don't have to wait for me. I'll be training you all along, but this you can put in place right now. If not, please consider scheduling before our next video together. Please. It can be very expensive and limited. Let me explain that to you. Limited financial or community resources are an issue. Small business, you may not have money. I asked this question realizing in worship houses, businesses, funding to hire consultants may be and is often limited. It can be very expensive. That's why I want you to go this other route in terms of scheduling your staff to come in from emergency management, scheduling your active shooter training, getting it scheduled. because it doesn't cost you anything. So I'm keeping it in mind as I address small business. Active shooter trainers or protective security advisors, write that down, protective security advisors in the United States, the PSAs, that's what they're called, are field-based representatives who work with faith-based organizations and private sectors to assess the local needs for training, information, and technical assistance. Security surveys and vulnerability assessments are done. Law enforcement, the fire department, and other first responders will also serve in this capacity free of charge. Call the fire department. See who's over there who can come and help. In the United States, the local emergency management agencies, where I used to work, the crime prevention specialists, and the Criminal Investigation Bureau are available to conduct risk assessment vulnerability meetings. Risk assessment vulnerability meetings. What are they? What do they do? Well, they consult with your business planning team, right? The bosses, people at the table. They're trying to figure out what the risks are. Risky business, risk. What are the risks in the organization? But they need help with that. So they consult with your business planning team and worship house leadership. Business meeting, consultation. What do you need? Tell us. They assess the sanctuary and campus facilities to evaluate and discuss vulnerabilities, risk. What are the risks? Then they make suggestions for equipment, repairs in areas that need to be addressed, i.e., trimming shrubbery. Something as simple as keeping the shrubbery trimmed. Identifying easy access by criminals. Afterwards, they submit written detail, improvement suggestions, and thorough assessments for each building on all campuses and businesses. The size of your business is not a consideration. Not a consideration. So please do not think your business is too small to seek consultation, because consultation is help. Consultation means you need help, and there's no disgrace in asking for it. Financial and trained security resources may be limited. I'm repeating, money. The vulnerability risk assessment should be performed before developing your emergency plan. Before we can work on the emergency plan, I need you to know what your vulnerabilities are. I need you to know where you are weak, where you are vulnerable, where someone can break in. Do you have lights outside? I need to know all of that, and you need to know, more importantly, all of that. You, the supervisor, you, the director, you, the principal, you, the employee, you, the small business owner, you, the restaurant owner, you, the bookstore owner. You need to know where you're vulnerable, because we're dealing with risky business. We're looking at the risk to your organization. When you go to your house, are there risks? Are your shrubberies cut? Are your azaleas cut low enough so nobody can go behind your azaleas and break in your house? You have good locks? You don't have an alarm system? What do you need at your house? Sorry about that. What do you need at your house to make your house less vulnerable? Where are the risks? We're talking risky business. The clergy and administrators or designees may choose to perform their own site vulnerability assessments using the tools in the forms section of my book. That will help you. Yes, it will. Book reference is page 157 and 158. Here's the book. If you want to refer to this, it's your choice. A beautiful binder with notebook will work just as well. But you can write a step-by-step house of worship, emergency safety, and security plan. I am Lauren Holly Allen, your instructor. Guess what I have for you today? I did not know how to do this, so I'm going to do it the best way I can. Look at this. Okay, I'm going to hold it. I hope you can see it. This is a risk assessment worksheet. As you go across, I'm going to bring it down. Hazards, the probability. Trying to see it. The magnitude, warning, duration, risk priority, coming back over, active shooter event, probability, 4, high, 3, likely, 2, possible, 1, likely, magnitude, 1, catastrophic. I know how to spell catastrophic. I couldn't get it to fit. Sorry. 3, critical. 2, limited probability that it'll happen. Negligible, number 1. Warnings. 4, minimal, time needed. 6 to 1 hour. 12 to 24 hours. 24 hours. Duration. It can last 24 hours. 6 to 12 hours. 3 to 6 hours. Or 3 hours. Risk priority, high, medium, low. On the side, active shooter event, hostage situation, how likely, highly likely, likely, possible, likely. Weather event, hurricane, tornado, crosswinds, forget that one. Bomb threat, suspicious items. Medical emergency, fire safety, same scenarios at the top. Hazard, what it is, probability that it'll happen, the magnitude of it happening, the warning, the duration, risk priority, risky business. And I've decided to stop today with this, as I want to drive home the point. I know it appears like it's a lot of information, and it is. However, emergency management made easy is what I do. Hopefully, I am making it easy for you to understand. So before I go, please give me a like, send me an email, write in the comments what you need, and are you enjoying the presentation? How we can work together? Well, it's in the text. However, let me see if I have a copy of it. I want to give you my email address again so that you will have that if you were to send me one. And I have put it somewhere that I should not. Bear with me for another second, and then we will part. Here we go. So how can we work together? My email address is preparebeforeithappens@outlook.com. Preparebeforeithappens@outlook.com. You know you can get the book on any venue, including Amazon. Already told you that. Consultations are available on Zoom. We can do it by phone. Any way you want. We can consult. You send me an email, we can talk about it. And that ends our presentation today. If you can change what you know, you can change what you do. Think about it. If you can change what you know, you can change what you do. Because emergency management can be risky business. See you next time, next Friday.